All right, so the question is, why this song?
It's not an apology nor a man to a friendship, because obviously it was never even there to begin with.
And we're talking about burning bridges. That song I wrote basically trying to explain like the end of relationships. I'd had a couple of like long-term relationships that had crashed and burned in some pretty significant ways, I guess. And it was just one of those things that I was really trying to convey, like this idea of what the end of a relationship feels like in a more poetic way, is really trying to get at the heart of what happened, I guess, through my experience of the end of a relationship, where you feel like you're working on the relationship, where it gets to a point where you're constantly trying to dig down to the root of the problem, and yet it feels like in doing that you just keep finding more and more and more problems. So it's like, are we killing the tree by trying to expose all of the roots, is like really the heart of what that meant. Was like, all of this investigation into the problem, are we causing more harm than good? And then, really trying to express like what it was like at the time to go through a divorce while also being on a submarine for the first time, like going underway for 90 days, getting correspondence and kind of like still trying to work on a relationship, but it's like on the rocks, and it's like, it's basically in the like death rattle of the relationship, and you're getting correspondence through like snail mail on a submarine, and it was like, you're just trapped below the ocean with these like thoughts and feelings and no ability to like really communicate, but so trying to like express what that is, while at the same time there's the other side of it where it's like you're kind of done, you're like over being treated like this, you're over the feeling of like being in a stuck relationship that's spiraling out of control, and it's very volatile emotionally, and you're just kind of over all of that. So it's just that idea of like burning the bridge and just being like, listen, I don't got time in my life for any of this anymore. Like I'm just done. I'm over it. You just kind of get to that point where it's like, yeah, for a while I want to work on it. I see the value of like really sticking it out and working on it. And then there is a line that gets crossed, and then you're like, I don't want that anymore at all. And and that's where the burning the bridge comes from, right? It's like, we're not going back. There is no going back. Like we're stopping it here. And yeah. And so that was kind of the whole reason why I wrote that song.